the Minnesota Wild are terrorizing the NHL with these specific things. We're going to be breaking it down, going over yesterday's game, as well as multiple other updates from this Minnesota Wild team as they continue to be one of the best across the NHL, with one player in specific playing a phenomenal game and many people giving them a massive shout out. We're going to be breaking it all down here in this video. Before we do jump into it, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you one favor, and that's if you're looking for all of your Minnesota Wild news, be sure to hit that sub button. We're putting out every single update from this team here on the channel every single day. You will not want to miss it. And the way this team has been performing, and from multiple players in specific, the way that they have shown us this season that this team is legit, you won't want to miss what this team has to bring you, because we're going to be covering it all here on the channel. But we need to jump straight into this. I first want to start on by touching a little bit about the game, because against the Edmonton Oilers, this game could have gone many different ways. A 1-0 win, very rare that you see this across the NHL as of the last couple of seasons, but you know who was in net, because I don't even need to say it. You don't even need to look at the game. You didn't even need to watch the game to see who was in net after a 1-0 victory. But this game right here, the defense in this game played phenomenal, shutting down players. And although they're not playing the greatest this season, like Conor McDavid, Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers have just really not been good this year, those two players I mentioned in Draisaitl and McDavid, they could be on the worst team in the NHL and still keep that team in a borderline playoff race. And one player, as you see at the top of the hockey stat card, Jonas Brodin, shut all of them down. Shut this entire team down, and of course scoring that lone goal on an absolute snipe past Stuart Skinner, a goalie who also has been struggling a bit but played a phenomenal game yesterday. It goes to show the tenacity that this Wild team have to go out and do something like this. Then going and seeing a game where, Jesper Wallstedt saving 50 shots, getting a shutout. Then this team coming out and scoring 7 goals. This team has shown the NHL that every single part of this team by themselves can win a game. Last night, it was the defense. Multiple times this season, it's been the goaltending. And a lot as well these past couple of years, it has been the offense behind Kirill Kaprizov, Matt Boldy, Matt Zuccarello, Marco Rossi, and even while this team is still hurt, they're capable of doing it in a game like this. And yes, you can say you wanted to see more goals against, an Edmonton Oilers team that is really not the greatest. The Minnesota Wild, third best in the NHL, third best in the Central. It goes to show how competitive this division is, but also goes to show how good the Wild have to be, as they can't really afford to go ahead here and drop many games. So they've been doing a great job here on that, and I feel like, once again, we're talking about the kid, Jesper Wallstedt, Rookie of the Month, 6-0, 3 shutouts, 114 goals against, 967 save percentage in the month of November, while getting his 5th shutout of the season in his 15th career NHL game. When do you hear that? Ever in the NHL? I don't care if that's a player, and obviously a player can't go get a shutout, but when have you seen a stat like that go for a player? A stat of that caliber, a stat that shows something that you have not seen in nearly 80 years. You don't. It goes to show how good Jesper Wallstedt has been, and once again, last night was not a difference. 2.86 goals above expected versus Edmonton. According to Evolving Hockey tonight, that's his second best performance of the season in terms of goals saved above expected. So, once again, I feel like there's so many stats that can pile on top of each other, going to show how good Jesper Wallstedt is. But the fact that you don't even need to look at the stats to see how good this kid has been, it goes to show something massive. And I feel like this team has been very, on about that. A lot of people are speaking about that. But Jesper Wallstedt himself came out and spoke about what really is the help he's getting. I can't thank my teammates enough. And kind of talking about how that shutout materialized last night, where the defense was capable of shutting down those elite players in McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent-Hopkins. The defense on that Edmonton Oilers team are pretty much all offense. It's a dangerous team, regardless of where they are in the standings. So Jesper Wallstedt, not really taking it on himself. We know the new mindset he has, and I feel like that was a very, honest response from what we've seen from him about how not just he's changed his mindset, but opened up to everything here in his NHL career so far after what we saw from him last season, which, I mean, still shocks me that what we saw from last year to now is only a 1-year difference. Now, going on with all of this as well, we do have a few more updates from Jesper Wallstedt before we do jump into the rest of what we have here today, but Minnesota Wild PR tweeted this out. Per NHL stats, Wallstedt has become the first goaltender in more than 61 years and 7th since 1929-1930 with 5 shutouts at the time of his 10th career win. And like I said, when it comes down to not seeing a stat more than 10 times since 1929, almost 100, almost a century, it goes to show what we are seeing. And we know today's game is very different. It goes to show a higher level, what he's been doing when you're not playing plumbers and milkmen back in the 20s. But, seeing these stats still is just a whole different kind of mindset from what the Wild have seen for years. And, this can change, but from the mindset, the way this team has been playing, they're in a very good spot. They're playing absolutely fantastic and playing to a level that we know they can be at with all of the reports and rumors that have been going on as well. And I feel like when you're looking at the standings right now, every game matters more and more than what you may think because of how the Central and the NHL standings are. This is the NHL standings. This is not the Central standings. Goes to show how competitive the division is. Even Dallas, who are not really getting the media attention this year, have, been keeping up at an extreme level. We know Colorado's playing the best hockey that we have seen in quite some time. And the Wild now, after starting off like they did, we may have seen them in first at this point had they not started off on a little bit of a slow one. And I feel like the goal differential is really what showed that. And now we can remember earlier in the season, we were talking about the power play only being able to score 5-on-5, could not for, 7 or 8 games. You're seeing a goal differential still as a positive now. Goes to show how good they have been playing as of late with only a 1 winning streak, but over their last 10, 8-0-2, no regulation losses. Try to keep up with Colorado at 9-0-1. It's not going to be an easy feat, but if there's any team that can do it, it's this Wild team. And the way we saw a few other players play last night was something that will really help out, not just Jesper Wallstedt, but this team get to where we know they can be and get to where they know they can be. And this came out from Brock Faber as he spoke about what the play of Jonas Brodin was like last night. He was phenomenal. It just felt like he's got a stick on everything, felt like he blocked everything, didn't make any mistakes. It was fun to be his D partner tonight. It was very fun and very easy for me. And, Brock Faber has been a guy that's been very important over these past couple of seasons he's been here, and seems like he's been the one leading that. But Jonas Brodin, play that we have very rarely seen at a very high level from this defense. Necessarily, not a bad thing, but at an extreme level because of how well-rounded it is. You haven't really needed one guy to go out here and do it all, but we saw it in Jonas Brodin last night doing every single thing. And these are a few tweets that we did see that really goes and emphasizes how good he was been. This one comes from Jack Jablonski. Jonas Brodin, wow. I've probably seen 860 of 879 of Brodin's career games, and I can say with confidence tonight his game versus Edmonton was the best of his career. Yeah, he scored, but what he did defensively against McDavid and Draisaitl was a masterclass. And continuing on, Joe Smith, it's games like this, especially where you appreciate Jonas Brodin if you're a Wild fan. Watching him skate with McDavid, well, at least as much as one can. Just some really good plays by him and Spurgeon so far tonight, keeping the Oilers outside. And it ultimately ended up being a 1-0 win for the Wild, thanks to not just Jesper Wallstedt, but guys like Jonas Brodin and this entire Wild defense capable of shutting these guys down. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you're thinking right now, what your mindset is with this team, at least over these past few games where we're seeing this continue to be at an extreme level and just nobody in the NHL wanting to play this team. And I'm so excited to see the next game against Dallas, the next game against Colorado, because as we saw earlier this season, the game against Colorado was probably the best game this season for the NHL, but also one of the best games we've seen over the past couple of years. So I'm super excited, but over that time and in the meantime, we're going to be keeping every update from the Wild here for you guys on the channel. But that is all I have here in this one. Like I said, let me know what you think in the comments below about how this Wild team are playing and really what we saw last night, seemingly being one of the better instances from not just the defense, but also Jesper Wallstedt once again in his 5th shutout of the season, leading the league by 3. So let me know in the comments below what you think. But that is all I have here in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.